I woke up in my 40s and realized I was terrified of everything. Heights, large groups of people making new friends. And so I decided to do something crazy. I booked a solo trip around the world. This is how that went. This is part 2 of my story. If you haven't already watched part 1, I highly recommend you start there so you can get the full story. After a month of non-stop touring around Asia, I had become quite comfortable with traveling solo. But I still wasn't brave enough to try any heights. Then one day, I arrived in Nepal, and everything changed. The plan was to fly from Bangkok to Pokhara, which is a city at the base of the Himalayas. It's known as the adventure capital of the world because it's surrounded by some of the highest peaks on Earth, and people come from all over the world to go paragliding, whitewater rafting, and zip lining. None of that scared me. But when I got to Pokhara, it was love at first sight. The entire city was built on the side of a cliff, with prayer flags flapping in the wind, and every balcony overflowing with flowers and trees. The buildings were old and colorful, and the entire place felt like a magical hidden village. It took my breath away. At that moment, I knew I didn't want to leave. So I booked a room at a local guest house, poured myself a cup of masala chai, sat out on my balcony, and started planning my exploration of this amazing place. As a solo traveler, I have the luxury of being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. So the next morning, I woke up early, bought some fresh pomegranate juice, and headed out to explore. First on the list was Sarangkot, which is a viewpoint about an hour's walk outside of town. The path starts off paved, but quickly turns into a steep dirt road. I huffed and I puffed and made it to the top just as the sun was rising over the Himalayas. The view was spectacular. I stood there for hours taking it all in and feeling so grateful to be alive. But it was at that moment that something unexpected happened. A young woman who was working at the tea shop recognized me from my yoga class in Pokhara, and she introduced me to her family. They invited me to join them for breakfast, and then they insisted that I come home with them to meet the rest of their family. I ended up spending the entire day with this lovely family, eating delicious food, drinking homemade wine, smoking waves, and learning about their culture. When I finally made it back to my guest house that night, I collapsed from exhaustion. But as I drifted off to sleep, I couldn't stop smiling. I had conquered my fear of heights, explored a hidden gem of a village, and made some wonderful new friends. All before the age of 45. If you think that life is over after 45, I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely not true. In fact, I believe that the best is yet to come. Don't let anyone tell you that you're too old to do something. You're never too old to chase your dreams. Now that I've returned home from my solo trip around the world, I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do next. And I realize that I don't want to travel alone anymore. I want to bring other people with me. There's nothing like seeing the world through someone else's eyes, and I can't wait to share my love of travel with others. That's why I've started this channel. I want to inspire other people to get outside of their comfort zone, try new things, and see the world. I'm also working on a book about my adventures, and I hope to have it published soon. If you're interested in joining me on my next adventure, make sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.